Once upon a time, there was a world full of laughter. Then a virus hit, and the whole thing was a disaster. But we got a show to let you know it's alright. It's alright. Even though it's only once a week, we guarantee you a front row seat at the Comedy Cellar nightly show once a week.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm working everything myself today. Welcome to the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. My name is Dave Juskow. It's March 16th, 2021, in the greatest of all years ever. And we are here this evening because, as you know, the Comedy Cellar and other places are closed. But on April 2nd, Friday, April 2nd, the Comedy Cellar will reopen at, I guess, 33% capacity. For your entertainment. And what we love about the Comedy Cellar, we will be providing live entertainment on April 2nd. But tonight, starting right now, you can actually go to the Comedy Cellar and have dinner there with the comics, because that is what we do. Anyway, as normal in the chat room, if you're with us today live, you may press the donate button if you see something you enjoy. And as I always say, even if you don't enjoy, feel free to donate. All right, let's start the show with the prepared material today. Let's see what's in the news today. Okay. Well, Joe Biden announced that Americans can have small gatherings on July 4th. A big difference from last July 4th when everyone had large gatherings. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. New York City will be holding a virtual parade featuring video of some of the parade's most memorable moments over the years, such as man vomiting into bagpipe. That's an old one. At the Grammy Awards, Taylor Swift won Album of the Year for the third time. She said she would celebrate how she always does by getting into a toxic relationship with one of the Kennedys. They just keep coming. And finally, as more women come forward with stories of misconduct, Governor Cuomo described his latest accuser's account as gut-wrenching. Coincidentally, gut-wrenching is what he calls it when he reaches under a woman's blouse and squeezes. That's a good one, I guess. All right. Well, let's introduce our panel this evening. He is the co-host of the Comedy Cellar's Live from the Table podcast that you can hear on Sirius XM and also the Laugh Button streaming network. He was a regular on HBO's Crashing and was recently invited by Howie Mandel to be on America's Got Talent Champions. He speaks fluent French and knows how to pilot an airplane in case of an emergency. A good man to have around. Dan Naturman, everybody.
Well, if it's a single engine piston, I can probably help out.
Don't sell yourself short, Dan.
Anyway, thank you. Good to be here, David.
He is an accomplished musician and road warrior comedian who has toured with the likes of my heroes, Rodney Dangerfield and Huey Lewis in the News. And he is open for over a decade for the legendary Julio Iglesias. Could also be seen in the movie Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Please welcome for the first time to the program, John Joseph, everybody.
Yay. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Don't ever mention Paul Blart again.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's hard to pronounce, so it's my pleasure. And also, of course, as always, you know his single, Is It Ever Now? It is out on iTunes and on all other social media accounts. Please welcome Colin Smith, everybody. Colin Smith Music.
Gang. Hi, gang.
All right. Here
By
we
the way,
are.
that single is great, and it's maybe my new favorite Colin Smith song, replacing The Wilderness from the Wilderness album. Which, if you're not familiar with that song, is a real, what we call a toe tapper in the music business.
Colin, you're familiar with those old-fashioned terms, right?
Oh, I certainly am. I was raised in the most old-fashioned toe tappy kind of way. I speak fluent, Dan.
And I speak
French or English.
Dan is quite the knee slapper, as we used to call it in my
yes,
community.
he is. He's a tummy tickler.
Now, John, you and I have never met before.
No.
So when I got the email saying you'd like to be, I was asking people, do you know this guy? I've never heard so much praise and joy come out of people's mouths or texts. Or like, oh my God, that guy's the greatest. That guy's the greatest. They just all praise you for being a terrific guy, let alone a really good comic.
Not really. They just like my family. my daughters.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Well,
they've also
John is
mentioned
he somehow manages to be a comic and a family man. So few people can seem to pull that off.
right. It's him and Ray Romano.
Yes.
I think, Dan, you'll appreciate this. Emily Dark, and you can explain to Dave and Colin why we call them Dark and Light. I have two daughters. My older daughter, Danielle, Dan calls Danielle Light. And my younger daughter, Emily, he calls Emily Dark. Simple. She has darker skin. The other one has lighter skin. But for the last, I think, 15 years, 18 years, he's watched them growing up, and that's what he's called them. So Emily Dark has
Blossomed
watched
into young
this show.
women.
And she gave me this note to my wife. It says, "You look good. Sit back, shut up."
Oh, well, that's nice. I
Yeah.
thought maybe one of them was like, one more goth,
Yeah.
or something, and a little darker comedy or something.
No, they're great. They're great kids. But that's why people give me compliments, because they want me to bring the kids.
I actually have heard that the people enjoy when you bring your kids to the cellar.
Yeah, they love it. I mean, literally, Estes watched them growing up. It's great.
Apparently everybody has. I just assumed they like Dan from America's Got Talent or something, but apparently they like him for the man he's always been.
They love Dan for the man he was, for the man he is, and the man he will be.
Man, I'm becoming.
Dan said the funniest thing I was with, I bought a girl to the cellar that was, I guess, your girl's age. And we were watching how they show those old Charlie Chaplin movies,
Right.
in the olive tree back in the day. And she said the funniest thing, I guess. What is that movie they always show? Is it Modern Times?
Mm-hmm.
And there's one scene where there's all these kids and that really pretty girl's throwing out food to the kids. And he just goes to this girl I was with who's like 22. And she goes, all those children are dead. I've never forgotten. It was one of the funny. I never laughed so hard. I was like, it's funny on all reasons.
I think that was that Audrey, your friend Audrey?
Audrey, yes. Yeah.
That's great.
Great.
It was perfect. And the perfect thing to say to somebody that young, and the funniest thing to say, and the absolute truth. They're probably all dead.
It's fantastic.
I mean, it was 100 years ago, or maybe 90 years ago. So, I mean, I suppose maybe there's a couple that are still.
Yeah, there's probably one left. Like, I think the last, can you call them midgets anymore? The last Wizard of Oz.
You can't
Munchkin.
say midget, I don't think.
No, but Munchkin. I mean, they played Munchkin. So I think the last Munchkin just died.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'd heard that.
Horizontally challenged people.
Yes, right. Oh, that's much better.
Or vertically challenged,
John, it's and Dan too. Lately, the last 2 weeks, I've had, last week we had Florentine and Norton.
Oh, that wasn't last.
Oh no, last week was Rachel. I'm sorry. Right, Rachel and Cypher Sounds, and they've all had.
That's not his real name, Cypher Sounds.
What?
If that's not his real name, Cypher
Get
Sounds.
out. What?
His real name is Symphonius Soundstein.
I did not know that. Oh, we're getting.
I think it's like something Diaz.
Mike, I don't think you can share your screen still. He can. Can you guys all see? Oh, wait, we did see it.
Yeah, 98 years old.
What did it say, Mike?
You can put it up again, Mike.
It was working. I guess Mike took off.
To our general public, we've had a bit of a glitchy start.
No,
so.
I had a very glitchy start too. Was he going to talk? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yes, apparently one died. It said he was still alive or he died at 98. I only saw it for a second.
He died in 2018 at the age of 98.
Oh,
wow.
So it was only 3 years ago now. I still can't believe it's 2021.
Wow.
2020 was so much fun. I can't believe we love remembering it. But my thing, what I was saying is that the last couple of people we've had, I've been actually able to give out live dates that they're performing. John, I know you perform on the road constantly. Do you have anything coming up?
Yeah. Next week I do 3 shows in my kitchen. And then the week after.
Tell me that before I took a sip of the. I thought you were going to give out
a real show in the den. I got 2 shows in the bathroom, and I don't know. They're all sold out pretty much. So
I bet.
Well, hopefully, April 2nd, like you said, the Cellar opens only at 33%. But, the Fatback Pussycat will open, the Underground. And
That's right. So there's 3
They'll be
places to
doing
play.
they'll be doing shows in the restaurant at the Olive Tree Cafe. So even though it's only 33%, they're opening up different, like they're basically doing a show wherever they can find room to do a show. So in the
Right.
restaurant above the Comedy Cellar, at the bar, around the corner.
Right.
I have a 12:30 show April 2nd on McDougal and Bleecker.
Wait,
But
you mean just on the corner?
Well, maybe they can like get the the McDonald's just closed on Bleecker and on West 3rd and 6th. Maybe they do a pop up there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping they take it over. They need another place.
Hey, my aunt just texted in the chat room. She was wondering if she can see the bathroom performance. My Aunt Judy.
It's a great show.
I think we'd all like to see it. So
Yeah.
I think John was just
Wise.
showing off with how many rooms he has in his abode.
clearly,
Yeah.
In my cabin.
you live in Long Island, John?
I do. I live in Huntington.
I thought you lived in. Are you a Long Island guy? Like, I mean, did you used to perform at Richie Minervini's place? And
He's the guy that started me at Eastside.
oh, then we must have met at some point because Attell and I were there in the '80s and the late '80s, and we met a lot of the Long Island guys, which we always liked, but they were never city guys,
Yeah, no, there was a Long Island thing, and the late 80s is when it really amounted to something out there. That's when Nelson got his HBO thing and
Bob Nelson, right?
was busting out. Rosie busted out of there, Carol Leifer, everybody was doing good then.
Yeah, it was a fascinating place. This one little club in Long Island, because, like I said, Attell and I were just starting out, and we were always surprised how good everybody was because they weren't in Manhattan where we thought you had to be,
Right.
and they were all good and all very nice people, which we didn't encounter a lot on the rest of the road, like in Jersey or any of the other places, Connecticut, all kind of assholes, and everybody was kind and really good. Like everybody was good and polished. It was very surprising.
Long Island was like a team event, everybody kind of started out around the same time. And then you got to picture this. I mean, I guess every city had it. New York had it. Boston had it. Chicago had it. We had Kevin James, Adam Ferrara,
Right.
Carol Leifer, all those kids. And at the time, this is around 85, were kids.
Yeah.
And everybody was just kind of getting their foot. I mean, Carol was around a couple of years before that, but it was just such a great kind of thing. It wasn't a competition at all. It was like everybody sharing, everybody sitting at the bar. What do you got? What do you need? Let's make this funnier. How do we stretch this bit? It was great. I loved it.
And that East Side Comedy Club was terrific, and they used to really let people do whatever they wanted to do. It was very nurturing there.
Yeah,
I liked that
absolutely.
club.
Absolutely.
But Dan, do you have any gigs coming up, live ones? You haven't been
Believe it
performing
or
at all,
not, I'm
right?
going back to Aruba. Aruba Ray does shows in Aruba. If you happen to be on the island of Aruba in the Dutch West Indies, between March 22nd and April 1st, I will be doing Aruba Ray's Comedy Club at the Holiday Inn Aruba.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I was there a few months ago. So whatever, but you're probably not going to be in Aruba. Anybody that's listening, but if you happen to be in Aruba, if you want to make a special trip, I guess you can do that too.
Why wouldn't people want to make a special trip? It sounds awesome.
I also
All
have
right.
a book coming up, but won't be coming out for another month or so.
Oh,
So I
yeah?
don't even bother mentioning it.
Well, what's it called?
It's called Ira Spiro Before COVID. It's a novel, and you wrote a novel too, Dave, didn't you?
I did. I wrote it's a little different. It's just me and my cat solving mysteries together.
That sounds like a likelier bestseller than mine.
Wait,
Obviously.
Dan, why did you run away from talking about your book? I want to hear about your book. I didn't know you were writing
The
a book.
book is, well, it's not out yet, you can't buy it, but it's a novel about a comedian who,
What?
yes, well, you're right.
Write what you know.
About a comedian who, but here's the part I don't really know, who becomes very successful. He wins an Oscar for a screenplay that he writes, and then he starts to sabotage his career because he's uncomfortable with success. And that
I don't know why everything you're saying is getting funnier for some reason. Knowing after you said you write what you know.
well, I haven't won an Oscar, but and then he sort of he works through that. It's not like an ending where all of a sudden at the end he's cured of his self-sabotaging, but he's working toward being cured of his self-sabotaging. Sure. And there's a love interest there too, and whatever. And so I'm in editing it right now. I'm looking for type. I sent it to an editor and he found a bunch of typos. And then I'm going to find more typos.
So you should do what I did. I just had my niece go over it and she got it all correct.
Is she good at that?
She goes to dental school, but she's smart. So she didn't. In fact, she was like, "You really want to send this in the way it is?" Yeah. It was one of those things. So, all right, let's get to the.
Wait, can I just congratulate Dan? That's awesome.
Thank you, Paul.
That's how long has that been in the
I started it before COVID.
Yeah,
and then I was actually looking for a way to end the book, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And I'm just going to end it when COVID starts.
Right.
And
okay. Sorry, Dave.
We're all gonna. Oh, it's quite all right. I agree. That's why we said we wanted to hear more about it. It's really interesting, and Dan is. I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Yep.
All right. This is everybody can see my screen, right?
Right.
Yes.
You can all see this is the Dalai Lama, right? Getting his vaccine.
Oh wow.
Which really symbolizes that it's spring break. This picture was taken this week. This is not from 2 years ago. Hilarious. Apparently, spring break is just at Florida. They just don't give a shit. You almost got to respect it at this point. There's not one mask in sight.
My nephew's on spring break, but he's already had COVID, so I assume he has some protection.
Yeah, I just get the feeling these people are not vaccinated, but
certainly not. I was down in Miami a few weeks ago, and there's not a single mask anymore.
Right. Well, here is in Boise, Idaho, where they were having a mask burning.
Amazing.
Because apparently it's over.
They're idiots.
Exactly. However, these women, at least some of them are hot. It's usually when you see these kind of things, it's very unattractive women. So, and this one will grow up to be hot, you figure. Are we allowed to say that?
Well, you're allowed to, but you might face some backlash.
What, from them?
I mean, some people will find that a little bit.
These people will be complimented because they're insane. That are like, oh, he thinks we're hot. See?
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna distance myself from that whole segment.
Probably best. Here's the Pope. Speaking of distancing yourself,
you really brought the house down.
Well, yes, exactly. This is the Pope talking in Iraq, where I don't think this was supposed to be the setting. I think it crumbled. I think it reminded me of this, of course.
Yeah.
Poor planning. We're going to be speaking at the Four Seasons. So that was a classic, of course. And you probably heard Buckingham Palace hires external law firm to investigate the bullying claims against Meghan. And they hired Celino and Barnes to do the job.
Who do you think is more attractive, Meghan Markle or Kate Middleton?
It's got to be Meghan.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I think Meghan Markle's sexier, definitely sexier.
I think, I like Kate. You go Kate?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think you're right about Meghan. She's a little more exotic, and the fact that she's speaking out against it, and the fact that she was using her sexuality to leave the royal family is hot. Like she's got him like by the balls. Like we're leaving. Okay.
Wait, how is she using her sexuality to do that?
Well, how else is she going to get the prince to give up his princehood?
I mean,
that's when you're hot. No normal person can do that. That's a sexy thing to do.
Okay.
Ask my Uncle C. Okay. Now,
Celino and Barnes.
This is that magazine, Charlie Hebdo, that's got, speaking of balls, they have the most balls that there is. The Queen sitting on Meghan Markle's neck, just like George Floyd. They're getting a lot of crap on this, but this is the magazine where those extremists came in and shot everybody because they showed a picture of Muhammad. But this is the picture they were showing, which is hilarious. It says 50 lashes if you don't die laughing. That's hilarious, but people didn't find it funny. I mean, this is just brilliant, I think. But people are a little up in arms in it. I guess because she's black. I guess that's it could be a thing.
Well,
But
because they're making light out of George. I mean, anytime you have George Floyd involved,
Right.
it's going to provoke controversy.
I feel like they're just making fun of Buckingham Palace, but I see what you're saying as well.
George Floyd. Also,
Yeah.
the Queen's her legs are not shaven.
No, they're not, which is the most hilarious of all things. That just makes it better. It's really funny. Speaking of idiots, this is Jennifer Garner, who I've always liked, but for some reason, she just announced she had just gotten her ears pierced, like last week. Like she's 37 or maybe almost 40. She just got her ears pierced.
She's got to be older than that by now, I think.
Exactly, and she just got her ears pierced, which
I'm going to check that out.
Which makes you.
80,
she's what?
She's 82.
Maybe that's when she was born. But yeah, I always
is 48. You're not. I mean, Dave, you were way off.
She's 48.
48, yeah.
No, she's not.
But that's according to Wikipedia. They're usually pretty good at. I mean, they usually get the age right. If they might.
This girl's almost 50. She looks unbelievable.
Is that a recent photo?
This was last week on Ellen.
Oh yeah, she does look good, but that was on TV with makeup.
Well, I've always been angry at her ever since she married this idiot. This is Ben Affleck getting a delivery of booze. As you can see, the beer bottle.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
No way. That really?
I swear to God, it was taken by
Ben
TMZ.
Wait, does that mean he's back on the booze? God, I hope
No,
not.
this was so the day after Jennifer Garner, who's his ex-wife, who apparently is the sweetest of all people, called him and put him in a car and sent him to rehab. And he was so wasted in the car, she gave him a bag of Jack in the Box just before he got to rehab. That is a true story.
Jeez.
How's that for an ex-wife?
That looks like Heidi Fleiss in the passenger seat, but
it does. It looks like they're up to no good.
No, but wait, is this recently, Dave?
Yeah, this is recently. He can't get it together. I can't stand the guy, but I have my personal reasons for not liking him as a cock blocker. Another story for another day. Maybe when I write a book. But
did write a book, but it's about the cat.
That's right. Well, we're solving the case of a missing bride. It's pretty serious, Dan. But yeah, that's so. This is Drew Brees retiring this week.
Oh. He's going to be in
what?
He's going to work for NBC on Sunday Night Football.
That's right. NBC and Notre Dame football as well.
Right.
And this is how he announced it. He had his kids go on Twitter and announce his retirement. It's a little low volume-wise, but it picks up. These are his 4 perfectly white kids.
After 15 years in the Saints and 20 years in the NFL, our dad is finally going to retire. So we can spend more time with us. Yay!
Well, that is cute.
It's cute. And then what's not cute is my niece did the same thing.
All right. Your niece?
For 40 years in comedy, my uncle is finally going to retire. Yay!
Yeah, I didn't find that funny at all. I'm not retiring, and that is premature. So I don't understand it. But I guess if that's what the kids want to do, then so be it. If she thinks that's funny, she forget all those Venmos I'm going to send her. Does anybody know who the person in the middle is?
Is it, by the way, is that Corey Haim on the right?
No, it's Marky Mark.
Oh, is that Marky Mark? Oh, wow,
Yes.
geez, it's going back. In the middle, can you give us a hint?
No.
It's not Tiffany, but is that Rebecca Schaefer?
No.
Oh, Sola Moonfry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Punky Brewster. Oh, Punky.
I never saw that show.
Well, me neither. But
yeah, it's good.
What you say, John?
I said it's very good that you showed it. Nobody knows what the hell it is.
Yeah.
Right, of course. But the thing is, she has this new Hulu show, which I watched, called Kid 90, where she had a video camera when she was this proper age in the 90s with all these kids and videotaped all this stuff that they did. But I watched the first half hour. It was so depressing, I had to turn it off. Oh, Punky. But yeah, this is her now. She's kind of sexy.
She looked good in that picture with Marky Mark and
Yeah, she looks different though. You don't recognize that it's her.
Yeah.
Apparently, her boobs were so big she had to have them.
Not in this picture, obviously.
No.
Not
punk
there.
here. I can't stop myself. I'm sorry. So this, speaking of this show, okay, I took this right off the TV on Sunday. This is a book that they were saying that this guy's ex-wife wrote from this show, Silver Spoons.
Right.
This looks like she's completely blowing a guy.
Who's Evelyn Stratton?
Excellent question. That is this woman here who plays
okay.
Ricky Stratton's dad's ex-wife, and she wrote a tell-all book that this is the cover. And I was like, wait a minute. And I saw, they didn't expect people to have high-def TV or anything back when they made this. I'm like,
wait, is this still from Silver Spoons?
Yeah. This was just a still from Silver. Does it not look like she's blowing a guy?
Yes, it does.
I don't see.
Also, are those a child's hands holding the book?
Yes, it's Ricky Schroeder's hands holding the book.
Well, I tell you what.
And is that her ass crack? Or
yes,
looks like it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this was on Thursday nights at 8:00. Nobody saw it until today. Till I was able to bring it to you. You're welcome. But why was I watching that show? Well,
Aaron Gray.
Because hello, Buck Rogers, which I watch every Saturday night now. She was the best. So I think the reason they hired Aaron Gray, because there was a bunch of guys like me in it, and they just were like, hey, let's put a book where we quickly show a girl blowing a guy. I mean, it's just, it's pretty fucked up, right? It's not just me.
Where did you find that?
I was watching.
You were watching, you saw that.
On a Sunday at 5:00 in the afternoon, and I took that picture. No one else has that. That is not online.
Wow.
I looked for it.
You should, maybe it'll go viral if you put it online.
Yeah, I guess I should, because that's exactly the kind of thing I want to be known for. Oh, who's this?
Hey.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a young John Joseph who clearly we all had that hairstyle. Here's Mark Cohen. Here's me.
Whoa.
Is it a college parking lot?
No, that's my high school parking lot.
You look like Freddie Carbone from The Godfather that gets hung up in the ice truck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. That's Goodfellas.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah,
nice fucking game.
Yeah.
But that's little Johnny Joseph, as they used to call him back in the day. This is John's website, which is pretty cool. Are you opening for Julio there?
No, I was doing my show and I had an orchestra behind me. It was nice.
Yeah, where were you doing with this? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
That was on a new Royal Caribbean ship.
Wow.
It
have big stages like that?
These.
I've never been on a cruise before. You do a lot of them, right?
I used to do a lot of them until, the world ended.
Right. Are you going to continue to do it if they bring it back?
Yeah. Absolutely. The theaters are beautiful.
Yeah.
The stages are great. The crews are unbelievable. It's literally like playing any theater that you would pick in the country. It's just wonderful. The only bad part about it is you're stuck on the cruise for 7 days.
Right. If you bomb, that would be a disaster.
If you bomb, you're a dead man.
Right.
But you're a dead man if you kill too, because then they don't leave you alone. You can't even eat.
Right.
Dan,
what were you going to say?
Dan knows what it's like. I think Dan did.
Yeah, I've done them, but you bring your wife sometimes. I mean, if she's free,
Well, she's my manager and she's the boss.
She retired from her. Didn't she a teacher?
She was a teacher for a minute.
Okay.
Before we got married, and then she was just my right hand, everything.
I see.
Well, Dan can't bring a wife anywhere because there's this picture, which isn't going to get you a wife anytime soon.
Is that from America's Got Talent?
No, this is just a picture I took before COVID shut down that I was lurking. Yeah, yes, it's from America's Got Talent. What I can't figure out is how you're fitting that huge pastrami sandwich in your mouth with your legs crossed. That's like something you really got to put your feet on the bottom and,
Yeah, well, I pulled it off somehow. I didn't have any gray, by the way, in that photo. And that was about 6 years ago. And now the gray, I mean, what a difference 6 years makes. But
It's from the pastrami, Dan.
Pardon?
Yeah.
The gray is from the pastrami.
The pastrami turned me gray.
This is Dan's podcast live from the table at the Comedy Cellar. This was an old, when it actually used to be live from the table. Look at that small little table we used to. That was
guy Branham?
I don't know. Here's Dan here and here's Gnome. I know that's Rich Voss, and I don't know the other people.
Is that Adrian Palucci? I don't know who these people are.
Oh, maybe that could be Adrian. Yeah, it's funny. I wanted to take a picture because the table isn't like this anymore. And it's just funny because our entire world is spent around this tiny table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is the comics table. It's like, it's the greatest thing if you can actually sit there. It's like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah, the truth is I usually don't sit there. It depends who's sitting there.
Right. No, I agree, but I'm just saying in its folklore, it is the place to be.
Folklore, but I think the folklore is not necessarily the reality. You know, it like depends who's there. If people are there,
you're ruining it.
I'm sorry. Okay. By the way,
I was always grateful that I made it there, and now you're ruining it. Ain't that great to be? I'm like, shut up. What do you know?
No, I'm kind of interested. All right, whatever. Let's look at Taylor Swift. This is where I go.
She's kind of.
I don't know how you feel about this.
I love Taylor Swift.
Well, I mean, she's gorgeous, but 3 Grammys for Best Album in the 2000s, since 2010. Is she really worthy of Best Album? Yes.
Yeah, I think. I mean, in terms of Best
You're saying
album,
she's better than she's up there with Stevie Wonder.
When was the last good
Paul
album?
Simon?
When was the last good album Stevie Wonder put out a good album?
It doesn't matter. I'm saying
it does
these
matter.
2 guys stand the test of time. I'm saying Taylor Swift's albums will not stand a 30-year test of time.
But who deserves it? If she who's better?
Well, that's the other issue. There's nobody to choose from. Excellent point.
Okay, so
Although
when
Colin's album comes out, you're going to be pissed if you lose to Taylor Swift.
I think you're voicing the opinions of the Facebook community at large there.
It's not just
which
that.
tends to be a certain demographic. But did you listen? Okay, as we're doing this, did you listen to the record?
I didn't listen to the new
there
one.
You go. Enough said.
I'm just saying 3. But look, there's another factor. Taylor Swift is not funny. When she's on Saturday Night Live, she is not funny. You know who's funny? Paul Simon's funny.
Very funny.
You know where else he's funny? In goddamn Annie Hall, he's fucking funny.
Yeah.
Not in Valentine's Day. Taylor Swift is not funny. Stevie Wonder in Saturday Night Live in this con and camera sketch where he's taking pictures that anyone could use and he's a blind guy taking pictures. That's fucking funny. Along with this amazing episode with Eddie Murphy. Taylor Swift is not funny.
Take her Grammys. She's not funny.
I'm sorry. I got very upset about it because she doesn't belong in that category. I'm sorry, Colin.
It's quite a.
Did you see
the record?
Is she hotter than those 2 guys? Then yes. What'd you say, Dan?
You see Coming to America?
Yeah, I loved it.
I didn't see it, but is it good because it's good, or is it good because you just enjoy the nostalgia?
Excellent question. I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I would imagine.
However, I mean, I still liked it. I liked the new story and everything, so I think I would like it even if it didn't. But the nostalgia and the gags they have for people that worship the movie backwards and forwards, I was crying, laughing out loud. So I loved it. I really did. I thought it was really good. I like seeing the 3 barbers again, and that boy good, and they brought back my favorite characters. So including ones I didn't expect they would ever think to bring back, because I thought I was the only one that thought it was funny. So I loved it.
Who did they bring back that you wouldn't expect them to
I can't tell you. I would spoil it.
Louis Anderson's back. I know that.
Yeah, well, that made me happy. But there's one part, I just use this as a spoiler because there's little gags like this where they have the ZNN network for Zamunda, like CNN. And it's James Earl Jones who said, "This is CNN," which is great because he's in the movie. So, awesome. It's those little tiny gags that make me very happy. All right. That being said, this is Colin's portion of the show. Colin, what do you have for us today?
Well, I'm going to defer to Dan because back in normal times when we'd be playing in the Olive Tree on Friday and Saturday night, Dan was a very enthusiastic.
He's a good cheerleader
and audience member, and always had his. I
I always had requests.
Requests. So have you any
No,
tonight?
I like, let's see, but because some of the songs you did, but some of the songs you played guitar, but you didn't sing.
Sure, but
Right,
just
like,
give it a bash, and
no,
I'll see what I can do.
you
I'm going to be a bit
know,
off the cuff tonight with, to
uh,
let the people know what it's like a bit, because
Uh-huh.
that's kind of loose.
I
so-
always enjoyed your with it. No, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, but that's a bigger sound. I don't think you'd want to do that. Just
That's
there's your song is always good.
The Elton John
oh,
one?
the Elton John song.
Yeah, the Elton John.
Okay, cool.
You
Let's do that.
sing that, right?
You're going to do that one? That would be great.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, that'd be terrific. I'd like that too. Wow.
Okay, here we go.
Ladies, get ready.
Dude, it's all dudes.
It's
all white dudes of a
Well,
certain
here
age.
today, but watching.
Okay.
How does he remember the words to all these songs?
Normally I do, but what was my CPU was shorting there because normally Gnome plays that on guitar, and I kind of know it, and so I was like
Oh, that's
figuring
so
the chords
funny.
out as I was like playing, and it was a bit of a botch.
Oh, and
so-
I've started, as you know, guitar.
yeah, I saw that.
Now you were doing a finger style pattern.
Yeah.
Was it the same pattern for each chord, or were you like?
I am a hack when it comes to stuff like that, and it's just a bit random. I'm just
Yeah,
doing
you are a
whatever the
hack.
right
I didn't
hand
want
wants
to say
to
it,
do.
but yeah, that's the first word that comes to mind when I.
So you fret the chord and then you kind of just pick the strings.
Yeah, I mean, my right hand has kind of like a natural, like it has a familiar kind of like pattern that it likes to play and stuff like that. I mean, in a song like that, I'm trying to kind of imitate what it would be like to strum it too. So I'm just doing whatever my brain is sending to me.
Masterclass, people.
It's
Well,
unorthodox.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, Colin. And the best is that you can just take a request like that and then it just comes out like that. It's pretty goddamn cool. I should
right.
make more requests because it's so good. But the fact that you did it on the spot is a miracle. Well, that is our show for today. Danny Natterman, you can't plug your book yet, but we'll be looking out
if you
for
happen
it.
to be on the island of Aruba, Dutch West Indies,
Right. Starting March 22nd,
March
you said,
22nd
right?
to April 1st at the Holiday Inn Aruba. There are shows, not every night. You got to go to arubaraycomedy.com, I think. That
Right.
I mean, not that anybody's going to,
We'll take your word. And John Joseph, you
Yes,
really have nothing coming up yet, but you will.
nothing till April, you
Right.
know?
Yeah,
Couple
you'll be
of
at the Cellar.
The brokerage on Long Island, April 3rd, possibly. Nothing's definite yet.
That's James's club, the Governors, right?
Yeah.
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 Brokerage. Excellent.
Great
Yes.
club.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And Colin.
Yeah,
the,
actually, I forgot to mention, this Friday, there's a movie coming out called City of Lies that stars Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker, and it's about the investigation into Notorious B.I.G.'s murder.
Oh yeah.
And I have a bunch of songs in it, and I
Shut
sing
up.
like kind of in the soundtrack and stuff like that.
Great.
Yeah, so
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I saw that advertised. That looked like a lot of fun, except for what we know about
How
Johnny
long-
Depp
when
at this
did he
point.
die? It's been 20, how long?
He died, 24 years ago the other day, March 9th.
24.
Yeah,
I just unbelievable how time goes so quickly. I just
so quickly.
slow it the fuck down, man.
It does. It's
Yeah.
like it's like we were all shut down like yesterday. Oh yeah, you're right. But
And I'm also in
9/11 will be
Alabama
20
this weekend with singing with an orchestra down there, doing some stuff in Huntsville, Alabama, with the Huntsville Symphony.
Nice.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We were. That's somebody mentioned that last week. Sypha mentioned the Huntsville, Alabama thing
Huntsville,
because he was
Alabama
doing
has a
something there.
symphony.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
they got
exactly what he said. I think
Yeah.
last week. Right.
It's the
Oh.
guy with the harmonica.
So
He's probably really good.
thank you everybody this week. As you know, this week was supposed to be Tom Shalhoub and Jamie LaBella from Fox News, and we just got a donation from It's the It saying Tom Shalhoub's killing it with his Dan Natterman impression. But we made a switch because Tom will be here next week with Jamie LaBella from Fox News. That ought to be interesting. We'll show him the mass burning things. They'll have a different spin on that, of course. And the week after that, on March 30th, we're going to have music night where Colin and our friend Leslie Mendelson will be playing.
Okay.
So I think once a month we're going to make a little bit more music because it's turning out pretty good. I mean, the sound's good. You got your mic is good, and it always sounds good. So
Name? Leslie Mendelssohn.
Leslie Mendelson, you never met her?
Any relation to who is the famous composer Felix Mendelssohn?
It's exactly what
Felix,
Colin said.
correctly, yes, yeah.
Your great,
Yes.
great grand.
I don't think they're related, but she's terrific, and she'll be on in 2 weeks. So that is the story always come down to the Cellar at 7 o'clock. And of course, starting April 2nd, you'll actually be able to see regular old-fashioned comedy shows there, which will be great. I hope everybody stays safe and you have a great week. And we'll see you next week here at 7 o'clock on the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.